Hi and welcome to Indigo Starfire. My name is Bevin, and in this video I'm going to be looking into the question, then versus now, how have their feelings about you and the connection changed or evolved? There are three groups to choose from. Group 1 is the grape agate. Group 2 is the lapis lazuli. And group 3 is the tiger iron. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups, or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to. I'll give you a minute to make your selection, and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video for each group if you'd like to jump ahead. And up next is a close-up photo of the crystals to help you better make your selection. Hi, Group 1. You chose the grape agate. So let's start with the energies of then. What were they thinking the last time that they saw you or communicated with you, or even earlier on in your connection with this individual? Okay, we have home. May your body be where a harmonious balance of love, strength, light, and pleasure lives. So there's a sense this person was very attracted to you, but maybe not ready for kind of the emotional implications of the connection, what you were requiring, needs you had expressed for them or to them in terms of like long-term commitment or even future plans that had been discussed or suggested. And that might have been something which caused them to kind of instinctually sort of recoil back into the energy of fear. It feels that this person might have caught feelings for you very intensely, very quickly, and it might have been something where it really triggered a lot of their fears of commitment, fears of intimacy beyond just like sexual energy or physical connection with another person. So it was a sense that in the past they were very drawn to you, very magnetized to you, but not necessarily ready for kind of the long-term elements of growth on an emotional level that entering into kind of a consistent connection with you or remaining connected to you or kind of progressing the relationship forward, that this was really asking them to sort of open their mind and heart to. We also have strength of vulnerability. True power lies at the root of perceived weaknesses. So there's a sense that this person was really intimidated by your strength, the way in which you knew yourself, loved yourself, accepted yourself fully for who you are. There's a sense that you are someone who wears your heart on your sleeve, and this could have again been very confrontational to this person who may have in the past been very tied to the material world, sort of avoided deep connections at all cost. Somebody that may have known a lot of people, had a lot of people that they would have called friends, but few people who really knew them on like a deep and personal level. This could be somebody who was really used to kind of masking or hiding their true self in order to sort of fit into roles that others expected them to play, and a sense of a very genuine energy that you exuded, or ways in which you might have opened up to this person about difficulties you'd faced, hopes and dreams for the future. All of that was really kind of nudging them to kind of replicate this energy, follow suit with you in a way that they had either not done before. It might have even really triggered a sense of shame, aspects within themselves that they didn't look at as strengths of character, that in some way you might have suggested things or shown or displayed things in you that were kind of the opposite of that. Rather in the past, in this person looking at it as like, okay, we can kind of compensate for the deficits within one another. It feels that it very much challenged this person's ego, because it was aspects of themselves that were just not inherent strengths or things that they had not worked on in their life up to that point in time, due to kind of chasing material pleasures rather than focusing on kind of cultivating something at like a core level within them. And we also have surrender, letting go of the darkness. So there's a sense that this person saw you as somebody who is able to really kind of go with the flow of your circumstances, your situations, that you are a very adaptable individual. If you'd experienced trials and tribulations in your past and you express this to this person, or it just sort of reflected in the way that you loved very genuinely, or you were living your life to your fullest, really appreciating every moment, or just being kind of emotionally mindful, maybe even a degree of sensitivity or even an empathic quality about you that this person could have really sensed, or that you made known. It again kind of mirrored something for them where either their life had been very carefree, they'd never really been challenged or tested before. That might have brought forth kind of an instinctual fear of the unknown, things that you'd been through, and you sort of came out wiser and stronger, versus someone that might have led a very charmed existence up to that point when you were last dealing with them, and a feeling of like, I don't know if I could have survived what you've been through. I don't know if I would come out with my heart open, or if I would have come out the other side and been more kind of closed off or hardened within myself. And so there's a sense again of like this intimidation about some degree of personal strength within you that you presented as like a softness and openness, ways in which you were very compassionate to this person in the past. It feels that it really triggered almost a sense of not feeling worthy of that, not feeling worthy to receive that, because they may have really been living their existence as an artificial version of themselves, someone who hadn't really taken the time to do any soul searching, or hadn't up to that point been compelled through life circumstances to dig very deeply beneath the surface within themselves. And we also have challenge, standing up for your rights. So again, there's the sense of challenges that you had been through, or even kind of challenges that might have existed in kind of getting to know this person, or building a bond between the two of you, or a relationship between the two of you. There's a sense that as much as they might have resisted or even kind of tested you in the connection in the past, and you were very accommodating to this person, you might have been very forgiving of this person, or even things you'd been through in your own life that kind of created character for you. There's a sense that this person was sort of lacking in those experiences, or rather than choosing to maybe take a more difficult path, the road less traveled, and building character, they almost chose the easy way out of situations and kind of remaining within toxicity, or just kind of choosing like surface level fulfillment, avoiding, numbing things out. And so there's a sense that they perceived you as being stronger in some way. You had more character than they had, or that they perceived that they had in the past when they were dealing with you, or early on in the connection. And so it feels to be something that they were very almost kind of like guarded or reserved in the presence of you, rather than kind of looking at the situation as something where you could teach them strength, or that you would be a good person to stand by their side if, kind of troubled waters were needing to be passed through emotionally. It's almost like they felt threatened by your ability to endure and to overcome things. And so that might have caused them to sort of push the connection away, or even try to like push your buttons in some sort of way to find some degree of weakness or vulnerability within you. So definitely somebody who is very triggered by just who you are as a person, or kind of the journey or path that led to the version of yourself that they encountered earlier on in the connection, or in the past when you were dealing with them. So let's take a look and see how those feelings towards you might have changed or evolved. Okay, we have fulfillment. So this person is definitely seeing you as a missed opportunity. They might have kind of mixed feelings about the idea of, should I reach back out to this person? Am I prepared? Have I grown enough? Am I ready to kind of rise to the challenge that opening up on an emotional level, or investing more deeply than they'd been able to do in the past? If they would be able to kind of fulfill your needs, or carry on in a long-term sense in that capacity. So it feels like they are still sort of riding the fence on that energy of being very intimidated by you, but yet drawn to you in some kind of capacity. So this might be somebody that's considering, reaching out with an apology, or trying to open lines of communication once more. They may have chosen to go into other connections, and now that they've sort of tasted your energy, or they've had an experience of what you are offering, it feels that it's been very difficult for them to kind of just ignore that, to unsee that, to continue to remain within the illusion of pretending that they are satisfied by things that lack substance and meaning. So there's almost kind of like a craving for you in a way. You're like a guilty pleasure to this person, very much drawn towards you, but still feeling very triggered and slightly inadequate as far as like if they can meet your expectations, or kind of progress along the journey that an experience of a deeper, emotionally fulfilling connection with you would sort of offer them. We also have inner child. So there's a sense that this person is recognizing that you in some way are more spiritually evolved, you're more emotionally evolved than them. They may be kind of at the first or early stages of dealing with some sort of like inner child wounding within that created those fears of inadequacy within them from maybe earlier romantic connections or their childhood. That might be something that has caused them to sort of direct their attention towards you once more. You are almost like a prize or something that if they do this work or endeavored to kind of heal themselves in some way, they might stand a chance of kind of coming back into your world, coming back into your energy with something to offer. But at this particular point in time, they are almost sort of fearful that you've outgrown them, or that what they've displayed, any ways in which they've kind of played with your emotions, played mind games in the situation. There's a recognition that they acted childish, or that it was really stemming from kind of immature behavior, or just sort of a preference by default for more surface level connections. But it feels to be something that they're almost getting bored with that within their own life. It's not offering them deep fulfillment. It might even be that there are people that they've sort of chosen over you, or people that they were surrounded with in general, that they're starting to see these individuals' true colors. These are only fair weather friends. These are not people who are really enduring through the trials and tribulations of life. So there may be some difficulties that this person is going through at this time, and now they're sort of looking to you like, okay, that's the person that I should have kept by my side, because they would have been with me through good times and bad, versus maybe people who have sort of exited their life when things got difficult, and so it's almost kind of a lonely energy. This person's lonely for you at this point. And we also have the sanctuary. So there's a sense of feeling and recognizing and being able to value and appreciate this safe space and the level of acceptance that you provided for this person, for the version of them that they were at the time. Even though they had, it sounded like, some emotional growing and maturing to do, there was a sense that you never judged them, you never ridiculed them, you were very accepting of them, or almost like very empathic enough and empathetic enough to be able to kind of read between the lines of any ways in which this person was really acting out, giving you mixed signals, or in some kind of way just sort of stalling or halting the progression of the connection forward. That there's a sense that they're seeing you as somebody who was very empowered with your boundaries, but at the same point in time, there was a softness or a leniency when it came to this person, that you gave them a ample opportunity for growth. You created kind of a wide vista at which there were many options or opportunities for them to kind of rise above a tendency that they brought forth to kind of avoid deep emotions when you first connected with this individual. And it may be where you were very patient with them, or you gave them a lot of chances. You tried to kind of help them or be very constructive in the ways in which you supported or encouraged their growth that they've not found or experienced elsewhere. They've not been able to kind of have that same sort of compassion coming from other people. There may be people who have become very impatient with this individual, or have left their life altogether, due to some of these deficits, kind of getting tired of the way this person operates, seeing beyond the masks or the illusion, and not being satisfied with kind of the level of development that this person has actually in the past, or even it sounds like kind of still presently, what they have to offer. And so it might have been kind of a rude awakening. The company that they chose over your company, it didn't really lead to that satisfaction. So there's a sense of almost like homesickness for your energy at this particular point in time, or a desire to be back in your good graces, or move in closer, to kind of replicate that intimacy you once shared, and a desire for something deeper emotionally. But again, like this fear of inadequacy, not knowing if what they have to give is enough to sort of fulfill your needs or, you know, to contribute to kind of the growth of the connection moving forward. We also have the Sovereign. So they're seeing you as somebody who, in the aftermath of maybe parting ways with this person or taking a step back from the situation, you've reclaimed your power in some way by pouring all of that beautiful energy that you were attempting to kind of offer to this person or make available to this person. You've poured it into yourself instead. This is somebody who respects and yet is resentful of the boundaries that you've set within your life and with this person. You know, you're maybe not playing games with them anymore. You've disengaged with kind of the cycle or the pattern that was established, and it's something which has kind of given them a degree of respect for you, but it feels like it's also really triggering that kind of wounded child inside because they're not getting their way with you as they did in the past. So this is almost like a tough love sort of energy, which again is kind of, it maybe feels very perplexing for this person, the way they might be drawn to that as an example of kind of like a well-rounded and healthy love, versus something that they might have been really used to people that placated them or, you know, accommodated them, or nothing that was too deep. So it didn't require like taking personal ownership of anything, but they see that like you as an individual, you hold yourself to a different standard, a higher standard, and also the people that you allow into your life are held to a higher standard. So it feels like it's very apparent to this person at this point in time that they have some inner work or growth that they need to do in order to be able to come back into your world and come back into your reality, because they're also seeing and sensing that, you know, even if you're still kind of suffering or sad about the situation, in some way they are cognizant of the fact that you've created some sort of healing, or you've created a sanctuary for yourself through your boundaries where you are attempting to heal or invite kind of healing energies in. You're forward facing, kind of geared toward evolving beyond sort of whatever the heartbreak is in this situation, which is making this person feel very left out in the cold, but also very consciously aware that they put themselves there. So let's get some messages from this person's higher self and see what they would tell you right now if they could. Okay, and we have, I just want to hear your voice. So they may be yearning for some words of wisdom, longing for the conversations, deep conversations you may have tried to have with this person and they kind of stonewalled you, or, you know, maybe it was something where they opened up and expressed or shared things and then went cold on you the next day. There's a sense of regretting how they handled that, regretting words that were spoken in the past, or even kind of deeper feelings or fears or insecurities that they held back expressing before. And we also have, you don't realize how perfect you are to me. So they are seeing you and recognizing you as kind of somebody that would make a very good partner, romantically speaking, if this person is willing to do the work that it feels like has been highlighted or illustrated for them at this particular point in time in their life, due to other circumstances or something that they're just able to see into the true nature of sort of the people they've been gravitating towards emotionally, or people that they've had in their life that no longer kind of fulfill them. It's like they've outgrown these situations or are starting to outgrow them, and they are drawn to the awareness that you offered something deeper, you offered something more, and so this is something that it's almost the prize if they are able to kind of do this work within, heal and evolve and kind of break free of their own toxic patterns. There's a sense of you or someone like you is the type of person or the person that aligns with that better or higher version of themselves. I also have, no one understands me like you do. So there's a sense that they almost feel very lonely in a crowded room at this particular point in time. You know, the people in their life presently, or that they have kind of had close to them, it feels like they are recognizing that people are not necessarily there for them when times are tough. People are only sort of there if this person can provide a benefit. They may have nobody to lean on at this particular point in time, or people that have really abandoned them in their hour of need. And so it feels like it's making this individual miss you incredibly, because they're seeing you're a person who wouldn't have done that, or even when they tested or challenged the connection in the past, you were willing to hold on a lot longer than other people in their life have proven to be willing to. And so now it's something in hindsight that they're able to value and appreciate more. We also have I connect with you at night. So this person might be dreaming about you a lot, thinking about you a lot. They may be single at this particular point in time, or they're just not interested in kind of pursuing anyone else. If they are in another connection, it might almost be sort of like a roommate situation. And this person, it feels like, is very much kind of lost in the thought of what could have been, what should have been, what they should have done, what they should have said. All these what ifs that it feels like is causing a lot of rumination, a lot of thought about you. So you might be picking up on this person's energy, or sort of sensing or feeling that kind of the effect of, energy flows where attention goes, or there might be like a direct channel open between the two of you, even though there could be silence in kind of the material sense. So let's get some initials. Can be a first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got O, S, Z, W, Q, R, D, V, J, H, V, P, C, Y, and E. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 2. Chose the lapis lazuli. So let's start with the energies of then. How was the person on your mind thinking and feeling about you? How were they viewing you the last time you saw them, last time you communicated with them, or even earlier on in your connection? We have metamorphosis, power, and strength lie within our surrender to change. So there was a sense that this person kind of recognized or understood, or maybe met you at a time in your life when you were very open about, or it was kind of a well-known fact that you were going through some kind of difficult phase, some sort of evolutionary phase, some kind of process of change or growth. Maybe you were, going through a glow up, trying to make some sort of pivot professionally speaking, break free of unhealthy cycles, belief systems, behaviors, shedding a version of yourself in order to kind of step into that best or better you. And so there's almost a sense that this person in the past was very hesitant to either embark with someone emotionally speaking, or kind of commit to a person who was still in the process of kind of developing or forming or finding themselves, because there was a sense that this person might have been very afraid of change, very rooted within their own kind of patterns, very stubborn and resistant. And so rather than looking at this as kind of the opportunity to explore other things, open their mind, open their perceptions, or maybe kind of dislodge themselves from some things that had entrenched them into kind of a limited lifestyle or a lower vibrational existence. There's almost something of kind of like running in the other way, or declining the choice to progress forward with you, feeling that it would almost be safer for them in some sort of capacity. They could hold on to what was familiar and what was known, rather than sort of setting out on the adventure or accepting the invitation that the universe provided them in the form of meeting you, getting to know you, interacting with you. It feels that you kind of sparked a change or metamorphosis within this person. You may have activated their heart chakra, catalyzed some sort of spiritual awakening for this individual, and it feels that made them very nervous. It triggered and brought forth a lot of fear of change, or a fear fear of confronting their shadow, personal growth that they may have needed to do that they weren't prepared for or that they weren't willing to, kind of someone who might have been leading with their ego and very resistant to the core of what their soul was really encouraging them towards. A sense as well of kind of with that element of you were either on a quest or a journey, or maybe even this person judged you and sort of looked at things about you that you needed to change. They thought they knew best for you rather than kind of looking at themselves and saying, what about me needs to evolve or be reshaped in some sort of manner. There's a sense of almost like the person that they were interacting with, that they might have had feelings for, the version of you that might have sparked something within or compelled them towards you. There's a sense of, if you're going through the process of a rebirth or a kind of a growth paradigm, a shift in your narrative arc, where's there going to be a place for me? Am I just going to be discarded further down the road? Or, uncertainty as far as who you were evolving into, whatever that might look like, and kind of a sense of being hesitant to almost attach themselves to someone that in their eyes, or maybe quite actually wasn't yet kind of a fully rebirthed individual. We also have confusion. Growth hurts, heals, and harnesses a way through the uncertainty. So again, there's a sense of avoiding their shadow in some sort of way. You might have really triggered a spiritual awakening, dark night of the soul. You yourself might have been going through some sort of dark night of the soul and encountered this individual, which it feels like the nature of that might have made them very fearful about what does that mean if this person is kind of like in a period of darkness or low vibration, or, they're trying to better themselves. Why have they encountered me along that path? What does that say about me? Something where it almost might have been easier to kind of project blame upon you rather than sort of look at it as the opportunity. Things about themselves they might not have been aware of or had been resistant to change or addressing prior to encountering you, rather than sort of seeing you as like a companion through a process of growth and evolution, or, one light meeting another within kind of an all-encompassing darkness. There may have been something where this person kind of judged you for the way that your life was, your past, even kind of goals that you were aiming toward, healthy changes that you wanted to make that required shedding certain things or confronting certain uncomfortable things about yourself, and kind of choosing to become better or strive for better or do better. That might have really highlighted that for this person ways in which they hadn't chosen that in the past, or again, kind of an invitation to sort of take inventories, take stock in their own life, and to embark, maybe concurrently with you or off on their own kind of side quest in that capacity, that it feels like really sort of irritated a stubbornness or a rootedness to familiarity, to patterns, to predictability, everything outside of themselves rather than kind of looking within. We also have bliss, cherishing the day. So there's a sense that this person did see that you were very optimistic despite anything that you'd been through or that you were going through. You held on to hope in a way that might have been quite confusing for this individual. Again, they really might have been judging you kind of harshly, even things that they just sort of assumed based on what you told them, how you were presenting, anything they might have known about your journey up to the point when you crossed paths with them. There was a sense of almost like assuming that people like you or people that had been through things that you'd been through should have kind of a nastier disposition about them, or should be very pessimistic, should be looking at things as like a glass half empty approach. But in some way, you were in the process of like alchemizing pain into personal power, challenges into opportunities. You kept hope alive, or you sought to really spread joy in the lives of others, even when you yourself were hurting. And it feels to be something that really was quite perplexing to this person, because either challenges they had faced in their own way in their life prior to meeting you, it kind of brought out the worst in them. It made them a little less trusting. It made them a little more skeptical, a little more guarded. And then encountering you, and you were maybe open and free, or willing to kind of help even when you had very little to give, it feels that this really, again, sort of triggered something within this person. They couldn't quite figure you out, or you didn't match the expectation of what someone like you should be like as a person. And so it feels to be something where it was easier to lean into that place of judgment rather than kind of take the opportunity of experiencing you as something for positive change and growth and expansion within themselves as well. And we also have the self, gathering your power. So they did see you as a very courageous person. Any struggles that you were going through, especially with the fact that it feels like you were keeping a very optimistic attitude, being very open-minded, kind of going with the flow of whatever process of change and transformation you were on, or kind of initiating that for yourself. Very, determined rather than just being swept into the energy of change. You chose to kind of move forward out of stagnation in some way. And so there's a sense that they really looked up to you or admired you, but failed to really recognize how they could sort of fit into that equation. There's a sense of almost fearing that you were very empowered and only becoming more empowered within yourself. And there was a fear almost at a certain point you'd get tired of this person or discard this person. And so they may have, kind of discarded you first, or sort of dropped the connection, or chose not to move forward with it out of a feeling of almost like, well, someday they're going to outgrow me anyway, so I might as well just jump out of this situation right now, before any kind of unnecessary changes happen that I need to go through, anything that they would have been required to kind of release or move beyond. There's almost a sense of not really trusting in a guarantee of a long-term future, and therefore thinking the nature of sacrifice that may have been required on their part in order to remain in your presence or to move forward with you emotionally, that it almost wasn't worth it, because there was no kind of guarantee that things would be better for them, or that you would even stick by them further down the road. So let's take a look at how their feelings towards you in the connection may have changed or evolved. Okay, we have blessing. Yeah, so this person recognizes a missed opportunity. They see you as a blessing in disguise, something that they really missed out on. There's a sense of not really feeling that they'll have another opportunity to meet someone like you, or that in some way choosing not to participate in this connection, or the way in which they treated you or maybe discarded you, that in some way it's locked them out of a certain level of blessings. They're like not invited to the feast at the next sort of level of your life. It might have even closed certain doors for them in other areas of their life as well. The universe may have really responded to how they've handled this situation by lumping on additional challenges to this person. It's almost a sense of them recognizing that to handle the circumstances different with you would have been sort of taking the easy way through some sort of inevitable change period that they are now forced to kind of go through the hard way. So things might be quite difficult for this person, especially if you open the heart chakra, you catalyzed a spiritual awakening. They may have plummeted very deeply within a dark night of the soul. They've run from you, and yet there's no way for them to run from their own reflection or their own shadow. And so there's a sense of almost like wishing they could turn back the hands of time and would have handled the situation different, kind of like if I'd only known then what I know now, but feeling that they've kind of missed the boat in the situation with you. We also have believe. So there's a sense that this person, believes in kind of your beliefs about love, or the way in which you might have really been very determined by kind of a goal other people couldn't see, couldn't appreciate, a sense of your kind of optimism that things will get better, there's a purpose for everything, kind of strengths or challenges kind of bring out our innate strengths or force us to become stronger. There's a sense that now, and this person might have really doubted that in the past, or been kind of skeptical or questioning almost of like, are you too good to be true? Are you real? Are you, just kind of putting on a show? Are you putting on a front? Are you pretending? And there's a sense of them understanding that you really are the real deal. You really are who you said you are, or you've reached some sort of goal or milestone. You've accomplished that thing. You've shed that pattern. You've stepped into that best version of self. All of that change sort of energy, it's worked out in your benefit. And so it's almost like seeing is believing. This person might be watching you from afar, checking you out on social media, maybe heard about you through the grapevine, and it's almost like the tables have turned in your life in some sort of positive way, or you've come out on top, or things are getting better for you. You're looking better. Everything about your life is kind of on that upward swing. And so it's a sense of almost regretting that they judged you in the past, or didn't see the value and worth, or couldn't believe and sort of trust in the invitation that was provided to them by the universe, in terms of like, here's this person, yeah, you're going to have to change in order to kind of keep up with this relationship, but if you're following your heart, things will work out in the end. And there's a sense that they doubted that, and so now they're feeling very kind of left behind and on the outskirts, because you have become that kind of change that you were hoping to experience. Or there's a sense again of this person kind of recognizing you in some way, that you were a blessing in their life. Feeling very lonely, it feels like, at this particular point in time, and almost kind of yearning for your companionship, or sort of like, if I hadn't given up on the situation, if I hadn't discarded this person, it might be easier to go through a certain level of personal challenge that could be really weighing them down, or has really humbled them in some sort of way. And we also have the listener. So there's, again, a sense of this person really believing in sort of your ability to trust your own intuition, to allow your heart to guide you through troubled waters, or in the direction of sort of what you need for your best interest or your highest good, that it feels like has really opened this person up to a different way of sort of viewing the world. Taking in information. This might have been somebody that was very logical, very sort of like, I'll see it if I believe it, or I'll believe it when I see it, kind of an energy. And there's a sense of almost like they reverse that in some sort of capacity. And there's an understanding now, thanks to you and to your living example, almost of, if I believe it, then I can see it. Like, they've seen that manifest for you in some sort of way, in terms of, you've kept the hope, you've kept the faith, you've continued to kind of progress forward through challenges, maybe even move through the experience with this person and the emotional toll it took on you. You move through that with grace, with your dignity intact, with your head held high. And so it's almost something that is an inspiration to this person, as far as kind of like following those signs and those internal nudges to sort of seek out healing wherever necessary, or to allow oneself to kind of cultivate healing from within. It's something that maybe even like a particular spiritual path or practice that this person could have really judged you for, or been very kind of fearful about, because it might have been unknown, it might have been uncertain, it was unfamiliar territory. A sense of almost like, if I kind of align with those beliefs, it's, it's too new age, it's too weird, like, what are people going to think of me? And that might have been a reason, even just if you're talking about your intuition, you're talking about like psychic vision or crystals or yoga or tarot or anything like that, anything that you'd mention as far as spirituality, even to this person, that might have really kind of caused them to become very reflexive and guarded with you. There's a sense of almost like they see the validity in those things. It's proven true for them in some capacity. Maybe they're getting bombarded with a lot of signs and synchronicities, or their psychic abilities have kind of come online in some sort of way. They're in that layer of their own kind of ascension journey of like, okay, there's something to all of this. And so there's a sense of almost like looking at you as a teacher or a guide, that they should have, trusted you, or kind of kept more of an open mind about certain things. You were a way shower for this individual. Kind of someone that could have led them out of troubled waters into kind of serenity along their own personal path, but then also somebody that they're really seeing, that you were maybe like part of a soul tribe or a soul family that they've kind of excluded themselves from. Now they're sort of off on their own, or they're kind of fumbling around through some sort of process of ascension that they are going through, or some kind of a process of awakening. And there's a sense of things they'd criticized you about, or judged you about, maybe even mocked you about, kind of secretly, internally, or to your face. There's almost a sense of them being humbled, because these things have now become relevant to them, or in some sort of way there's almost kind of proof that has been provided. So this is somebody who's been dismantled from just kind of a purely logical approach to the nature of reality, and there's something that is kind of coming online for them in terms of like a deeper emotional, spiritual self. And we also have the Conjurer. So this person is seeing you as somebody who's really able to manifest your dreams, because you are kind of leading from the heart, or you're following your heart in some sort of way. This person is also kind of understanding that you are the embodiment of all the love they had never given to themselves, didn't know that they were worthy to give to themselves, weren't capable of giving to themselves. Someone that might have led a very rigid existence before, and you were almost kind of the offer, the opportunity towards something more expansive. So there's a sense of really feeling that they kind of missed out on a blessing that they had manifested for themselves, a recognition they will never meet anyone like you again, and a lot of uncertainty within them at this point, as far as maybe what their own personal journey entails, what the repercussions are if they've kind of tossed aside the opportunity to do things the easy way, to move through a process of personal growth that might have been almost easier to endure or bear, or to go through, if they had, kept the channel of communication open between the two of you, or had handled the situation differently. But there's a sense of almost kind of recognizing that they broke your heart, or they hurt you in some sort of capacity, and so now there's almost like the scales have sort of tipped not in their favor because of that. There's a sense of them maybe going through what they put you through, or kind of a rough ride that their own sort of awakening process is going through at this time. They've essentially chosen the hard way of some inevitability of change. And so it doesn't feel that this person, maybe just where they're at in their life at this point, that they're really able to necessarily look towards the future and the idea of reconciliation with you, but they're definitely thinking about kind of how they handled the situation in the past with a lot of regret. So let's get some messages from their higher self and see what this person would tell you right now if they could. Okay, and they say, why are you so damn beautiful? So again, they're seeing you as some kind of like blessing in disguise that they missed out on, that this was something that it's a missed opportunity. Someone like you will not come around into their life again. Definitely could be watching you from afar, trying to kind of follow your lead, pick up little things that they are able to kind of glean or discern as far as how you made it through some troubled times, and you are now sitting at least in their view in kind of this energy of being at peace, having reached that place of peace that you might have expressed to them in the past. You knew was coming, you were going to reach for that. Goals that you've accomplished in your life, ways in which change that they might have been very frightened of that you were going through, you've come out the other side better, stronger, more vibrant as a person, as an individual. And so it feels like something that there's an essence of like, I want that for myself. I want to make it through kind of this dark night of the soul sort of energy, or this challenge period in time. And so they might almost be reaching for you energetically, or reaching for your light at this particular point in time. They also say, I want to be different. So this person is definitely, it feels like motivated to change, but it doesn't feel like they've been given much choice in the matter. So definitely something could have been sparked or awakened within them. Dark night of the soul energy, maybe circumstances happening in their life that has kind of forced them to look at the ways in which they have been very tied to kind of a judgmental energy, avoiding the nature of their own reflection or their own shadow. And now there's kind of no choice but to do that. So it feels like something that you have provided some sort of inspiration to this person. The echo of you is still kind of a light in the darkness for them, because it might be almost that they're kind of reflecting on your energy, or words that you'd spoken, things that you talked about, maybe even practices that you were involved in that they're kind of exploring or leaning towards as a way to kind of create some stability for themselves, to build something for themselves out of the energy of chaos, to kind of move as you are moving, perhaps in the hope of catching up with you one day, and seeing if there's an opportunity to make amends, or to even kind of create some sort of peace or closure in this situation. But it feels at this point that this person is really kind of stumbling in the dark at this point, and kind of reaching for something to provide them with some sort of solace, or something that might be kind of a light of hope that can help them to kind of move through whatever the process is they're involved with at this point. They also say your laugh is amazing. So this is somebody who sees your energy as medicine. You have a very healing presence. It feels like even the memories of you or watching from afar, it provides this person with some much needed remedy for themselves. So it might be where you're really feeling this person, you're feeling them tug on your energy. You might be getting a lot of signs and synchronicities related to them. It's definitely not a situation of out of sight, out of mind. It feels like they're very focused on you, but then also really kind of bombarded with whatever's going on in their own life at this particular point in time. So if this person does contact you or reach out at some point in the future, it feels like they'll be a very different version of themselves than you were last dealing with, because they've almost been sort of forced into some kind of profound change by the universe. And they also say, I miss the feeling of your body on mine. So there is, again, this energy of seeing you as some kind of blessing that they missed out on, something that was presented or provided by the universe that they turned away from, an invitation that was extended in the form of, building a connection with you or continuing to invest in a connection with you. They've tossed that aside, and there's a sense that an opportunity like this was once in a lifetime. It won't come around again. And so this person is really dealing with the repercussions of that. It feels like on an emotional level, and kind of spiritually, whatever that has sort of yielded for them, as far as the necessity to kind of look at the nature of what within them would have caused them to kind of project judgment onto you, rather than kind of seeing sort of the opportunity or the light of love that you were in their life, and that you are, and that you continue to be in a profound way in the lives of others. So let's get some initials. Can be a first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got N, T, N, M, E, A, P, O, I, R, V, and I. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 3. Chose the Tiger Iron. So let's start out with the energies of then. How was the person on your mind that you're watching the video for? How are they thinking and feeling about you the last time they saw you or communicated with you, or even earlier on in the connection? Okay, we have distorted desire, conscious desire rarely satisfied, the unconscious need driving it. So there's a sense that you were like a forbidden fruit to this person, something where to embark upon a connection with you, or own their feelings, allow those feelings to kind of saturate every aspect of their being, that they would be forever changed. It's almost a sense of to love you or to experience being loved by you would raise the bar so high that it would make it difficult of the types of people that they had allowed into their life before to even compete with that. A sense that you represented some kind of new echelon of what could have been as far as love was concerned. So this might have been somebody that caught feelings for you very deeply, very quickly. These feelings could have been kept inside. They could have sort of held back expressing that, because there was a sense of almost like, if I open that door and walk through it, there's no going back. A recognition as well in some way that it might have been almost destiny that the two of you met, or some kind of fated meeting or experience. There could have been a lot of like synchronicities, serendipity involved in kind of your first interactions with one another, or in sort of the early days of the connection, that there's a sense of almost like change in and of itself, that went far beyond sort of the element of romance in this situation, that might have been very triggering for this person, or brought about some kind of awareness of like a big cycle that was getting ready to unfold for them in their life, that might have brought up a lot of feelings of inadequacy. It's might have caused this person to almost be very self-conscious about kind of work within themselves they had yet to sort of accomplish or fulfill, wounds within, almost a sense of I don't want to let you in too close and kind of disappoint you or hurt you, but then a sense of almost like you could be the person that helps me to kind of unpack certain things that I've been unable to sort of deal with or properly kind of heal within myself, seeing you as some kind of blessing or godsend in their life. You arrived in their life just at the right moment, maybe when they were getting ready to give up hope on the idea of love and connection. You might have even been kind of, praying to sort of meet a soulmate, find someone that would love and accept them for who they are, see them for who they are, and all of that they sort of experienced or got a taste of the essence of when they first kind of encountered you. A sense of almost maybe feeling that you could have been the one. This could have been like a love at first sight situation, and that might have been something very overwhelming to this individual. Almost kind of like, do I have what it takes in order to step into a role where I'm able to really protect and provide in a reciprocal manner, emotionally speaking, to the opportunity to experience a deep and transcendent love. And we also have wishful expectations. Acknowledge the smoke and mirrors in your life for what they are. So there's a sense that you motivated this person to become better, something that it's almost like they might have kept you at a distance because they were very aware of their shortcomings in love, ways in which, this might be somebody that was at a point in their life or their journey where they were taking full responsibility for things that fell apart in other romances, or they had already worked through some things of kind of like understanding the nature of their own kind of weaknesses or deficits, and in some sort of way there was almost an urge or an instinct to give you the best that they could, but then being very aware that they still were a work in progress. And so it almost feels to be something that this person might have tried to intentionally sort of create roadblocks in the situation or detours in some sort of way, that might have come across as they were almost stringing you along or leading you on in some capacity, or that they were very indecisive, very hot and cold. But it feels like for every sort of elongation of the evolution of the connection that they created, or something where they may have kind of disconnected only to sort of come back at a later time, it feels like this is someone who is very busy working behind the scenes, taking account of themselves and sort of like, what do I need to improve upon? What do I need to fix or retrofit in order to truly be that embodiment of my better version of self? Because this person, you, the viewer, you deserve the best of me. You don't deserve kind of the wreckage of all of my past heartbreaks. You don't deserve, kind of the patterns that I had been in previously, that I was aware of or had been working to sort of overcome and break through. So again, there's a sense of almost seeing that you were kind of the fortunate opportunity, or something that really signaled almost a transcendent experience that was possible in love, kind of that encouragement for this person to continue to do work within emotionally that they might have already been embarking on when you cross paths with one another, or a sense of like, I owe it to you in the long-term future to become better. But that might have been something that wasn't necessarily communicated in a right or clear sort of way. So it feels like even that might have led to a sense of guilt and shame within this person, that they were that work in progress, that they couldn't just come right out and sort of give you a detailed plan of their motivations and their sort of approach to the situation. A recognition that maybe silence or ways in which they might have kind of been very unclear, or not followed through on kind of promises that were made, sort of an in and out kind of energy. There was a conscious awareness that that created a lot of confusion. It created a lot of unnecessary pain for you. But it's almost something that they felt it was in the best interest of the long-term future of the connection, to not sort of leap in, to not kind of reach for that forbidden fruit sort of energy, only to have a temporary benefit. But it's almost a sense of this person saw you as like a long-term investment, not someone that they were wanting to leave on the back burner for later, or like a second choice or an option, but almost kind of like, you deserve more than who I am or who I was at the time when you were, you first encountered them, or you were last dealing with this individual. We also have understanding, looking at both sides. So this person may have really seen you as their reflection, as their counterpart, as their match, a motivation to continue to press forth to creating sort of greater peace within themselves, or learning to really kind of manage both kind of the light and shadow within them, the positive and negative aspects of their character, tendencies that they know about themselves and kind of life, and how they've shown up in emotional connections. It feels like this is somebody who held a lot back very deliberately, kind of based on fear, but almost sort of like conversations about the true nature and depth of what they felt about you inside needed to take place further down the road, after they had very consciously embarked on a process of tying up loose ends, or really kind of becoming very clear or very determined with themselves as far as like change that needed to take place, that they'd already been aware of, they'd already been in the process of. It's almost like they needed to see that through to some kind of place of completion before they could invite you into themselves emotionally, or invite you closer into their life. It's almost a sense of, you deserve so much more than what I was able to give you, but not so much in the kind of approach that you were someone that, you know, was kind of out of their reach, out of their league in some sort of way, and that they were just going to give up, but almost like a motivation or an incentive to kind of pick up the pace on some process of personal growth and evolution, or to become more creative in some sort of way, in order to get to the root of sort of their patterns, their behaviors, things that they know have kind of been consistent or repetitive obstacles in their life and in love. This is almost somebody that it feels like was very motivated to dive head first into the places within themselves that they had feared to tread, or that most people don't kind of voluntarily go into by way of like deep shadow work, with the incentive or the motivation of like, I want to become that better version of myself for you and for the situation. And we also have transcendence, achieving success. So there's a sense that this person felt that you and they were going to be together in the end. It was always going to be you, even if your paths diverged from one another. There's a sense of them feeling very confident you would find your way back to one another. There's a sense that you understood this person in a way that no one else had, or certain aspects and qualities about you really sort of exceeded the expectations of what they'd been trying to manifest in terms of like a soulmate, or you know, just that compatible person, like that ideal person. And something where it's almost kind of a fight or a battle with themselves in order to be able to earn a space within them that was worthy of the type of love you had to offer, the type of person that you are, that you're different, very much different from anyone they'd ever kind of known before, or sort of the lengths that this person was inspired to go to in the interest of love. It feels like exceeded anything that they were motivated towards prior to meeting you, or inspired to kind of consider and act upon prior to meeting you as well. So let's see how those thoughts and feelings towards you in the connection have changed or evolved. Okay, so we have here and now. So this person may very much feel that they are in a place of readiness to present themselves to you again, to try and create reconciliation, or to move the connection forward to the next level, to the next experience. Time has only proven to them, or their own kind of journey of personal growth and acceleration has reinforced this notion that you're the person, you're the one for them. That idea of love at first sight, it might have been something in the past. They almost wanted to test the durability of that in some sort of way. And there's a sense of, I still love you. You still move me very deeply on an emotional level. Those feelings haven't gone away. Maybe even despite time or distance or silence, they've only gotten deeper. They've only got more intense. It feels that this person has taken different points where they've deliberately and consciously not looked at you. They've closed out to you, energetically speaking, to focus on themselves, and also to kind of see, can this connection ripen, even without kind of directly being immersed in kind of the warm feelings between the two of us. The excitement and the joy and kind of that deep sort of emotional and spiritual energy. Is this something which is substantial enough that it can still grow? It can still be sustained, it can still thrive even without our kind of direct interference or constant attention. And so it feels like this person might have kind of recently checked back into the connection. They've tested the waters in this situation, or they've looked at it very directly and are very pleased with sort of the element of awareness that the spark is still there, the exchange is still there, the energies are still there. Things have ripened very beautifully within this connection. This might also be something where they've started watching you from afar, watching the social media, or anything they've kind of come to know about you through the grapevine, or their own kind of research or inquiries. There's a sense that they're very pleased with the person that you've developed into, how you've grown and accelerated in your own life, how you've really come into your own in some sort of way. It's if they loved you before, they love you even more now. They find you even more captivating than you were before. We also have power. So this is again that energy of somebody that might be getting ready to create communication or speak some kind of deep personal truth. This is somebody who feels very empowered in your presence, very empowered by the idea of a future with you. Time has not diminished the feelings, they have only enhanced them. This may be somebody who has also gone on kind of a growth spurt as far as their spiritual life, their spiritual reality. And so whatever kind of path they've been drawn towards, that they've chosen to walk down, in some way they feel that it aligns very much with how you live your life, the things that kind of you are involved with emotionally, spiritually, actually. There's a sense of almost feeling that you may have some kind of greater purpose with one another, something that they want to do or create with you that goes far beyond just emotions and a relationship and a connection and love. But there's almost something that's kind of purpose driven, or some kind of divine mission, something that as they've maybe taken time to find themselves, to explore and to grow or heal certain things, and you've had the opportunity to do the same, they're seeing that there's a greater kind of conjunction between the two of you than was the case before, or your separate paths have somehow kind of led back to one another again. And so if they were kind of like, okay, I think this is the one, there's almost a certainty before that, yeah, you're the one, you're the person that they want to be with, or someone who is placed in their life very deliberately. We also have the shadow. So it feels like there's a bit of fear of rejection, or in some way that you might not give this person the opportunity to kind of explain their deeper motivations for their conduct towards you in the past. It feels like this is somebody that might have kind of fumbled the situation or didn't handle it in the best way, but they had good intentions for whatever it is that they did, as messy and complicated as that might have translated to in terms of 3D actions. It feels that at the core of this person, they really did feel you deserve better, and I acknowledge within myself that I'm not that person, so let me go and become that person and I'll be back. But they didn't communicate that to you properly at the time, and so there's a sense of almost like as they're maybe gathering the strength and courage to speak that deep personal truth or to open up more emotionally, there's a fear that you won't hear them out, that the words won't come out right, or that the pain of maybe distance and separation or anything that's happened between the two of you, that trust will be slow to be rebuilt, or that there's kind of some wounds that maybe won't be able to easily be healed. Anything that you've experienced in your time apart from this person that has brought you pain as well, that you've had to work through independent of this connection. There's a sense of almost this person feeling, I should have been there to protect you. I should have been there to stand with you. I should have been there to be your support system. You shouldn't have had to go through those things without me, or on your own, or you shouldn't have had to kind of like hold on and be the strong one. And there's a sense of almost wanting to make up for lost time if you would give that person the opportunity, and hoping that you would almost be able to kind of look beyond the past and sort of see the person that they've evolved into. We also have the moon dancer. So this person is very drawn to you, very compelled towards you. If they were attracted to you as kind of something very delectable, something very delightful in the past, this is something where there's almost an insatiable craving for you. Those emotions have only intensified. There's a sense of a lot that might have never been spoken in this connection, a lot within this person that might have just been sort of nebulous feelings before that they could have put a lot of thought and effort into how to kind of express that in a profound way, or in a clear manner. So this might be somebody who has kind of like written you a love letter. They've written a very extensive communication. They've scripted something out. They're practicing that. For some people, they've written you a song, or they've made some kind of art inspired by your connection, inspired by you and the situation, something that they want to kind of convey, or an interest in sort of emerging back in your life, back in your reality in a way that is meaningful, in a way that is not just, forgetful, or something that would kind of be considered insignificant, but this is almost kind of like a grand gesture, something big that it feels like this person wants to present, wants to provide as kind of a first step to letting you know that, if there was sort of an uncertainty within themselves before of not feeling good enough, that they've worked to become very self-accepting, very self-loving. They've worked to heal wounds of the past, and what they weren't able to provide or to give or to receive from you in the past. There's a sense of wanting to show you or demonstrate to you that they've become more open. They've become more kind of grounded within themselves. They're very drawn to you because if they, had that inclination that the two of you were kind of a well-suited match with one another in the past, it's almost like beyond the shadow of a doubt at this point. There's almost like nobody else for them in the world but you. So let's get some messages from this person's higher self and see what they would tell you right now if they could. Okay, and we have, I want to kiss you. Yes, this is somebody who definitely wants to kiss and make up. They want to make up for lost time. They definitely want to almost kind of sanctify or worship this connection or the energies between the two of you in a way that they were not capable of doing before. In a way that this time around, if you were to, accept them back into your life, that would almost leave no stone unturned or would not disappoint you. This is somebody who wants to kind of exceed your expectations. It feels like they've been working very hard behind the scenes to become a better person, so that they can show up in a better way in this connection than they were capable of before. They also say, you're all I've ever hoped for. You're my dream person. Yeah, so this person has had some time to think, it sounds like, or they've been introspecting within themselves. And if they had an instinct like love at first sight, it feels that time has only sort of rooted in that notion that you're the one for them. You're the person that they want, the person that they have been willing to evolve and change and grow for, that they've been motivated to do those things. And as they've changed and evolved and grown, what they're able to sort of see or decipher about you, they may have been keeping tabs on you the whole time. It's kind of the sense of almost like you two have been growing in tandem with one another despite any kind of separate paths that you've been walking. They also say, I want to make you mine. So definitely somebody that doesn't want to just come back in with empty promises. It feels like something that if they are re-emerging in your life, they're coming in with commitment or working towards that with you, maybe rebuilding trust gradually, rebuilding the relationship on more of a solid foundation than it had in the past, or anything that needs to be kind of cleared up as far as misunderstandings of the past or hurt feelings of the past. It feels like this is somebody who's wants more than just kind of to provide you with peace of mind and closure. There's almost a sense of like, I want another chance and I want to do things right this time. And they also say I have trouble expressing myself. So this may be something that they've been working on to kind of learn how to put words to feelings, thinking of the right words to say to you. What's that right approach? What's going to be meaningful and impactful enough that you understand that they're serious. They're not just trying to waste your time. They're not just trying to kind of bring you on some sort of emotional roller coaster once again. So this may be somebody that's kind of scripting, they're perfecting, they're rehearsing, they're working up that courage to break the ice between the two of you, end some kind of silence, reach out and make some kind of confession or open up to you in a deeper way about their feelings than they had been willing or able to do in the past. So let's get some initials. Can be a first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got R, S, V, P, P, T, D, E, L, U, D, M, and O. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.